sure.
Hi, Kristen.
Hello, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay, so my name is Laura Dorfman. This is a meeting of the Needham Historical Commission on January 23rd. This is a Zoom meeting, which is currently allowed by state laws. I think we should probably just do a quick roll call, if that's okay.
Sure.
So I mean, I can see you all, but I just want to make sure. So Rose Doherty,
I am here.
Dawn Lankwitz,
Present?
Leah Walkowitz,
Here.
Jeff Heller,
Here,
and it appears that Gloria and Joe are absent. Yes?
It would appear so.
Okay, great. So the first item is the approval of the minutes from December 12th. Did I sent you them
Mhm.
over the weekend? Does
Right.
anybody have any comments or questions on the minutes?
no,
No.
accurate.
Great.
Yeah.
So do we want to have a vote to approve the minutes?
I move that we, yes, I can move. I move that we approve the minutes. As
I'll
written.
second.
Okay.
Any objection? Hearing none, our minutes are approved. Thank you, Gloria. No, you're not here.
Don,
we need to
is that
vote.
you saying second or,
I said second.
oh, okay, thank you. I
Dawn.
thought,
Yeah,
I'm
so we have,
trying to take the minutes at the same time, so.
okay.
Okay.
So do you want, so you want to do a vote anyway, a vote as well? Okay,
Yeah, we should.
We
okay,
have to.
okay.
Okay,
Rose,
yes, aye.
Dawn,
Aye.
Leah,
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
and Laura Dorfman votes aye. Great. Okay. The next topic is local historic district update. So Dawn and I met with the select board, and I think I sent you an excerpt of the meetings, the
Mhm.
minutes from that meeting. Dawn chime in whenever, they seemed very accepting of the concept. They acknowledged their role in it, which is, and I can pull up the flow chart, which describes the steps, but basically the next step is for them to appoint a study committee.
I thought it was a great discussion.
Mhm.
Yeah, oh, you were there, Jeff, right? Yeah, it was very,
And
And
I
I was
thought-
there
I thought,
Yeah.
Rose was there
on Zoom.
on Zoom.
Mhm.
I do believe I was more pleased than I expected to be. You know, they seemed, I didn't think they'd be opposed, but I wasn't sure, you know, how enthusiastic or even knowledgeable, you know, and then for them to even go out and commend, you know, Mo for, you know, his
His,
volunteering and participation.
Yeah.
And that, and our meeting is well documented. I thought, you know, and that attitude, you know, was reflected in the meeting, the selectmen's meeting notes. Thank you for including those, Laura.
Oh, yeah, sure. I made a point of throwing in the demo delay bylaw, and they captured that, which I thought was great because now it's sort of on record. And you know, to be honest with you, I mean, I've talked to so many historical commission chairs, local historic district chairs. This town is really an outlier in that sense. So that's step two. We need to just see this initiative.
I ran into Marion Cooley at Valente's yesterday, and we talked about a number of things, you know, but I talked about some of my feelings about the planning board and their makeup. and the planning department.
Mhm.
But I also shared that from the research, the three towns that I spoke to, we're like so behind in the evolution of, managing, the planning, our planning department to speak to, other towns that don't have a volunteer historical commission. They have a preservation department that is part of the planning board. So, they don't have a wealth of members there, but they got, paid people, they got staff.
Mm.
I mean, that's
Mhm.
where preservation happens rather than, this little volunteer board where we don't have staff or any administrative, stuff, right? So, and an endeavor like this, what we're doing, is a very challenging
It
uh,
is.
endeavor. And
It
these
is.
other towns are so far involved. So when they come up with doing something like that, they can really mobilize some work, some firepower.
Oh,
Here we are. We talk about it, get informed, all of that, have to spend all this time, and now the selectmen, will have to pick up the ball. But and where's the planning board and in the planning department and all of this,
Well,
Um,
no, I understand. I mean, it's definitely not going to be the easiest thing in the world, but we're at least we're making the inroads and they've agreed to support us. And Don,
Right.
I mean, I don't know if you want to add anything around that at all, but I thought the meeting was great.
Yeah, I did too. I thought it was very positive. We just hope that they sort of pick up that ball and move it forward as quickly as possible.
They talked about, we're really going to try for October, right? Didn't they say that? The October town
But
meeting?
that's not going to happen.
That's
It's not
not going to
gonna-
happen.
No, so we
mean-
need to just understand. It's just gonna be probably maybe spring town meeting, right? That's
Yeah.
what I'm guessing.
It depends, as I was talking before, I want to throw out an idea. I don't know how, we need to get the planning board to be supporting this. Right? Like we need not only just we need to inform them, and I don't know if we leave it up to the selectmen. They don't have they don't have the greatest allegiance towards each other. They're two parallel processes, and that was one thing I talked to Marianne about as well. But but I think that we should either do it amongst ourselves, go to the planning board, or or the selectmen. And I don't think we should do it as a as an island. If it is our role to go to the planning board, and I'll volunteer for that if one of their meetings as well. But we should also do it in concert with the select board.
Yeah. Wasn't the I can't remember exactly where I saw this, but I thought there was a preliminary discussion about the types of people that would be on the study committee.
I'm
Mhm.
looking that up right now. Yep, there
Yeah, I
is.
thought there was a member of the planning board was on that. list.
Let me just see. I have the document right here. And I can share it, but let me just see if I can find it. I know there's an architect that they have to find, appoint.
Right,
or
and we
both are.
told, yeah, we told them the ones that have to be there according to the Commonwealth, but we also, I believe, at one point suggested somebody from the planning board. In the last list that I saw, and I can't remember where I saw it, did have somebody on the planning board
Okay, let's see.
or to be proposed.
Okay, consideration should be given to the following. Local Historic Commission members, architectural historians, landscape architects, lawyers, residents, the area of business owners, planning board members. So these aren't required, but these are suggested.
Right,
Uh,
and what are you
planning
reading
board-
from, Laura?
I'm reading it from the MHC Establishing Local Historic Districts, the full document, not the flow chart.
Right. I believe there was a document that did come from the select board at some point. Let me see if I can find it.
Oh, right, you might be right about that. It wouldn't be in their minutes, no.
In their minutes, it said something about they're looking towards the architectural board for, they're,
Mhm.
for that. So I don't know if it said anything more. I don't recall.
And we
Okay.
did mention, Leah, that we did have such a wonderful person on our commission, so. Right now, while John's looking for that, they're really involved with a lot of things going on in the town, so we're not gonna push this on them to find out what their progress is with this. We're gonna try to pick our best time. So did you find it, Don?
No, I didn't, but if I do find it, I'll forward it to everyone.
Okay, but definitely that's that's a helpful, a representative from the planning board is super helpful.
Yeah.
So we need to wait for them to, oh, sorry, Rose, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, when we worked with the school department to support the Emery Grover, which is now in process.
Yes.
I know, that's exciting.
But one of the things that we did was we did a letter to the school department. We made sure that we were working with them, that they knew we supported the Emery Grover. Of course, they knew we did. And I'm sorry, I don't think I have a specific way to go, but with involving different parts of the town, but you're right, planning board, seems to me that there might be other folks who the business association is now essentially the large chamber, which is 4 towns, so that doesn't exactly work.
But so the only requirements of the Mass General Law are the local historic society member, Board of Realtors, the
Mhm.
American Institute of Architects.
Right.
That's it.
These other ones I listed, including the planning board,
Mhm.
are suggested participants.
Right.
I can share this document. I know you guys have seen this before.
Yeah, we've seen it.
Yep,
But
we
it's
do.
really up to the select board, and we make suggestions, but this is not our thing. This is their thing right now. And we
I
gave them all of this. They have a lot of documentation, and I think they read it. It seemed like they really were very prepared when we went to the meeting. So,
Okay.
yes, Rose.
So I do have a question then. Should we put together a list of potential members for this? Not that we're going to appoint them, but to give to the select board so
Sure.
that we don't have to.
In
come up
addition to
with-
the required ones, you mean?
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah, I don't see how that can hurt at all. Do you, Don?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
So I'd still like to see us go before, someone go before the planning board, the whole board, and with a presentation, rather than just, have, them, oh, they have to appoint someone, I would like to have, it be, sort of a public discussion, so we don't get blindsided by, the board, their representative not being supportive of it, or someone on the board, comes up with, sometimes these munite questions around tangents. If you ever watched a planning board meeting, it
what,
could drive
Jeff,
you crazy.
I don't think they have purview over this at this point. I think that the select board is going to appoint, and I don't think that they would.
I
there's no
agree.
reason
I
to
agree.
think
I don't.
right now that I don't think they would get in the way of this at all. It's not like affecting a block or a busy sort of, residential / commercial. It's
We
just,
need their support. Not maybe not formally,
yeah,
but it is, but here it is a bylaw. It is not called a zoning, but also a town meeting. It requires the 2/3 approval, just like a zoning article.
Mhm.
And one of the things that Brookline said was, you need to make sure you don't get blindsided by some, when
Right.
you go on the floor, right?
Of course,
And
yeah.
like I said, I don't want to just trust that the planning board's going to be, supportive of this or non-participant. I want to have a discussion.
I understand. And there could be other groups that may not agree with this concept too.
Right, but I think we need to get the planning board a presentation and inform and get them
Okay.
all that before we go to the public meeting process. Where we have to tease out all those other influences and opinions in the town.
Okay, so I think we need to do, and Don chime in, but I think we need to let the select board do their piece of this. And if they consult us, which they may for other members and help with even finding an architect, sometimes the AIA doesn't respond, and, we've already given Leah's name to them, but I think that's when we say we'd really like to, there's certain groups we'd really like to have some time with so that we can share this with them, and the planning board would be one of them. But I don't think going in right now and sort of
I wasn't suggesting that, but
Yeah.
I was saying being proactive whenever that needs to be. But certainly now is not the time to take that initiative.
Okay, but that's important. Thank you. That's good. That's good input. Don, do you have any more comments on this?
No, I did find a document, though. It's the composition of 7 voting members of this study committee. 1 member recommended by the planning board, 1 member nominated by the American Institute of Architects, 1 member nominated by the Board of Realtors, 1 member of the Needham History Center, 1 member of the Historic Commission, 1 resident of the proposed historic district, and 1 community member at large.
But this isn't required by law. This is a
No,
suggested.
yeah, of course. The ones that
Good.
are required by law, we've stated again and again. It's the AIA, the Board of Realtors, and the
Yeah. So this is a suggested composition of a group, which sounds good to me.
Right. This was in the,
Was that from Jen Doherty?
it's from the town.
From the select board, you're saying, okay,
Okay.
okay.
And the last person that you mentioned was actually a neighbor to the local historic district is necessary. And then that last person was someone whose house is actually, or is a member at large, kind of.
A member at large. Number
Okay.
6 was the resident of the proposed property.
Do you
Okay,
think you can send that out to us? It's afterwards, Don? I think that would be good to have.
Yeah. And Rose, I'll send you an email right now just with this on it.
okay.
So you don't
That
have
makes
to.
the minutes easier. Thank you.
So the only other piece to this I want to mention is I did have a long conversation with Michael Taylor, who's the chair of the Medfield Local Historic District Committee. So they have their commission. So that's in some towns that LHD commission is part of the historical commission, and some towns it's separate. In Medfield, it's separate. And he had a lot of ideas. It was really interesting to talk to. And I invited him to come to our, was it February meeting? So that he could share some of his, because they've got a lot of districts in Medfield. What they don't have is an inventory, but they have a lot of districts and they have pretty strict demo delay bylaws. So that's kind of how they get preservation done. So he is planning to come to our February meeting.
Excellent. And make him the first item on the agenda. So
Yes,
that-
so he could get off, right?
Right.
So does anybody have any questions, Leah, or about this local historic district thing?
Nope, not right now. That all
Okay, good.
sounds good.
Awesome. Okay, so the next agenda item is an update on the Foster House, the Castle Hill property with this historical home, which we've discussed, called the Foster House. After our last meeting, I asked Kristen, how do we voice our concerns? And we noted all of the reasons why it's so significant, though it's not listed on our inventory. And we sent the select board an email, as we discussed, with all of that information.
Did anyone go to the Wednesday meeting?
Yeah, let me just finish my thought and then Dawn can share that. It seems like, that project is well on its way. That, I'm not sure that anything can be done at this point, so that's sort of the feedback I got, but Dawn did attend the meeting. Do you want to, share your thoughts on that?
Sure. Do you want to put the,
Yeah, you want me to
Okay.
put those maps up? Yeah.
put the concept plan up?
Might take me a second, so.
The meeting was really well attended by the abutters, people
I'll
who
bet.
lived around that property. I don't think there were a lot of positive comments. But anyway, my four major takeaways were these. The developer cited due diligence on a number of matters, none of which were historical due diligence. They cited preservation regarding the land, but not of the historic home. The developer stated the Foster house will be demolished, as a matter of fact, and the select board chair, who was chairing this meeting, stated the development will happen. So I don't know if you want to know a whole lot about the development itself, but this is pretty much the plan. And if you look on the little map on the right-hand side, if you go all the way down, and I don't know if you could use your cursor on this, Laura, but
Oh, sure. Do you want me to go
that
down
little
more?
red, pardon me?
Do you want me to move down more?
No, I
Or
mean,
just
use
point
your
it out?
cursor over onto the map on the right, and at the bottom loop. That's it, you're getting there.
The
Sorry,
bot-
there's something in the way.
It's on the black and white map.
On the, yeah,
So
Here?
if you,
right at the bottom of the loop, there's a red spot. Go up a little bit.
Hold on, I have to get rid of you guys, because,
Okay,
okay, there we go. Okay. Okay, so where am I going?
oh, you
where
were
that
right
red
there.
spot is.
You're right
That's
on
the
it. right there.
Foster house.
You could follow the driveway from the road that goes to both houses.
Okay,
If you
you
see
got
how
it
the
now.
driveway,
Well, you
Right
had it.
here?
Yes,
right
right there.
you've
Okay.
got it.
That's the Foster house and the garage that's next to it. So it's incorporated into the plan, but as a demolished building. There are going to be about 70 condo homes, they refer to them. Their target market is the empty nester 55 plus, which basically means there's a main floor primary bedroom. The sale price will be anywhere approximately on average of 1.5 million. There will be 4 units of the 70 will be sold as affordable housing at about $250,000. Construction will be in phases over 3 to 4 years. It's very similar to the development that is on the way to Wellesley on 135, past their dump. It's called, is it Fieldstone,
Mhm.
yeah,
the name of it?
Yep.
So I don't know if you've had a chance to drive through there, but it's doesn't seem like a whole neighborhood. It seems more like an apartment complex. So anyway, they're cramming 70 houses here, including there's a lot. If you go to the, Laura, if you go to the main map, upper right-hand corner, right there, there's going to be at least 4 or 5 houses put in that block as well.
Dawn, talk about this setback here. This
Well,
is,
it's just a way that when you're driving past on Charles River Street and you look into the development, there's a bend in the road so you don't actually see all the houses. It sort of gives you the impression that nothing's there.
but there's only a 100 feet buffer between, so see these abutters here?
Yeah, there's 100 feet between the abutters and the back of the property, the new development. That was a concern for a lot of people. Many of them who had lived in their homes for maybe as many as 30 years, bought the house to have the view, to have the, nature behind them. And now they're
Right.
getting big development.
Yeah.
There was a lot of concern about traffic and supporting infrastructure. If there's any discussion, and there hadn't been, about widening the road or how to accommodate more traffic on the road. It was interesting that the developer was saying that in talking about that setback, if you're driving by at 40 miles an hour, and the people immediately corrected him and
That's
said,
funny.
the speed limit is 30.
Mhm.
They have another project that's like this, Northland Residential, called Walcott Woods in Milton. If you guys feel like looking at that, just to see what the homes look like. I forgot we weren't meeting in person, but if you look at the rest of this presentation and you actually look at the homes, they're just very, very simple, basic homes. They look like they're attached condominiums. They're duplexes, so it's 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. And if you look at them, it sort of looks like a house that you could like draw. We don't have the whole presentation up here, but I have it, and because I realized we weren't meeting in person, I have copies, but I could certainly, or maybe Dawn has the whole thing. I don't know, but we can email it to you.
Yeah, I gave you my only copy, Laura.
Okay. Oh, you took the hard copy. That's right. So I can scan it and send you the PDF. But they're
Okay.
not, they're very basic home, it's not like this beautiful community. There's no pool, there's no community room, it's just a cluster of housing, basically.
Mhm.
As Gloria would call them, tissue boxes.
Yeah.
70 at 1.5 million.
Average.
The average, there'll be some more expensive and some less expensive. I think the
Mhm.
more expensive ones are going to be at that upper right-hand corner lot up there.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, that looks like it. And then just 4, which is
They're
basically.
not, that's not a
50%.
development there. Where that arrow, where you put that arrow?
Yes, that's part of the property discussion.
There's no, yes, but they're not developing that. They put that as part of the stuff that they're selling to Needham.
No,
Those things
it's
along the road there. There are two lots up there. Yeah.
there are 4 lots, and they are going to be developed based on the handout that was given out at the meeting and in the discussion there.
And this is a new
The
development.
little, what do they call that? The add a lot to the,
The
A-
A&R, that's
A&R
approval,
the
that's
A&R
approval
lot.
not required. That's approval not required. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, that's a change because the first
Yes, it is.
presentation that they presented on the tour and at town meeting, those were not to be developed. They were part of
Oh,
the,
really?
they were part of the sale that they're giving, the
Mhm.
property they're giving to Needham. There are trails in there, and Needham was the park and the conservation was commissioned, or Park and Rec were very happy that those were included because they get to keep these trails that are all marked.
Mhm.
They had a sort of a gentleman's agreement, a handshake agreement with the owners of the Kendall, who allowed, even though that was their property, they allowed them, Needham, to mark that and include that in their trail network. So I don't think that is.
Okay, well, we can send you copies of this presentation, and it does indicate that those are going to be developed.
That's a big change.
Yep.
Do you know, Don or Laura, I know the target is 55 plus, but do you know if it's officially going to be a 55 plus community? Because usually once that happens, like they're only selling to people of that age and it really cuts off access for younger people.
Yeah, that's what their target market was. I don't know if there's anything, officially stated for that.
And
I'm just basing that on, like, my parents live in a 55+ community in New Hampshire, and so there's like, it is officially a community and it has rules on who can live there. So I was just curious.
Yeah.
A good question. I'm not sure. I'm looking at some of their other projects to see if they designate them any, if there's anything more specific, but this is all we have right now. I don't know if, Dawn, you heard anything at the meeting that was different?
No, I just said that it was that was their target market, the empty nesters 55+.
but
And it doesn't change anything that we've talked about or anything that we'd be interested. I was just curious as far as support from the community, because if you're already excluding a chunk of the population, it just could potentially make it harder for some people to support it, but potentially more attractive to other folks.
Yeah,
Right.
the issue of affordable housing too, there are only 4 units to address
Yeah,
that.
that seems low.
Well, it's a percentage of 5%, I guess, of
5%.
the total.
And this town apparently is over its 10% requirement.
Yes, so this is called a friendly 40B,
Right.
right? And
Yeah.
because they are asking for the variance, or the rezoning, of the 1.5 acres to build those townhouses. And the progressives are getting out there and vocal about not enough low-income housing, affordable
Right.
housing.
And the point was brought up by someone who I didn't get his affiliation, but his point was simply that, not everyone wants to live near the railroad tracks, which is what the select board was saying, that, that's where we, the incentive for affordable housing is near public transportation, but that's not always the case for, where these homes should be.
And also, that's a special initiative from the governor, or from
And-
Governor Baker. It's the municipal, can't remember the name of it, housing plan, where they want they want towns who participate in the MBTA or any kind of transit like that to create housing, change their zoning, and create housing near the T stations.
Right.
within a half mile,
Right,
what the
Right.
rules say.
right. And if you don't do that, I think you don't get some sort of, if you don't participate, Rosa, you don't get some sort of funding from the state, right? It's
Right, I believe so, yes. And if you take the train to Providence, you will see that almost every town has built housing right
Yeah.
next to the train station.
Yeah.
Which is a great service to people. Not that everyone wants to live next to the train.
Right.
Right.
So this, like as Don said, this is happening.
Was there any reaction to the letter that was sent from the Historical Commission?
Yes, I got a phone call
Okay,
and it was
Yes.
basically said, this is happening.
okay. But at least it was acknowledged, and
Yes, definitely
That's a-
acknowledge it.
that's-
My point was, as a historical commission, if we did not react at all, we wouldn't be doing our job,
Mhm. Right,
right?
Now,
Just-
at the discussion on Wednesday, I mean, given the house is, given the house that is right where they're building other things there, could they, could they turn that house into, some kind of condos, or part of it? One part of it, could that be turned into and incorporated into these townhouses? Was there any, suggestion of that?
No, that
No.
was apparently already considered and not feasible, is what I was told.
Fine.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah,
because
you know,
the-
historical preservation is never feasible, you
Yeah,
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
but
That's
you
the
know,
line, you know, but you know, if you want to do it, there's a way.
Yeah.
It costs more, a little more, but there, you know, it's not undoable.
Right, right. And, I guess to have a conversation about that. Now, this construction is going to take place over phases. So they
Mhm.
probably won't hit that area for a little while. But
Mark,
I don't know what we can do to engage the developer to at least have a conversation.
Mm,
Now, it doesn't seem like the select board is open to that
no,
at all.
Well, you know, maybe Don, but maybe you're right. You know, maybe later on, okay? At this juncture, I think they want to be careful because they don't want to do anything to, you know, to railroad this process.
Yeah. And that
But
was my
later
fear.
on, you know,
Yeah.
because you give them too much, you know, flack, you know, they walk.
Yeah. And
Right.
the developer did say that if
that's
if it
right,
comes,
Jeff,
he-
that's right.
he's quick to walk on this.
He said that.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Right. But once
Um,
he starts construction and he gets halfway to it, then we go, hey, you know, we'll step in, we'll
Right.
step in informally and say, maybe would you reconsider? Maybe we got some ideas here. Maybe we get, you know, come up with some architectural plans, you know, and just come up with some, you know, suggestions. I don't know.
Yeah. I just wish we could feel comfortable in engaging in the discussion, but it doesn't seem like we would get support from the select board.
But I
But what
think
we,
once it's
but what we
a done
need
deal,
to do, Jeff, like, at every point of this project, to your point about being involved in the planning, getting the planning board involved in the LHD.
Mm.
Anytime there's an opportunity for us to go and be present and voice our concerns or
Mhm.
opinions, any public meetings and planning board, zoning board, whatever, that's what we have to do. That's the only way we can make this, sort of known. We can't, that's our only option at this
You know,
point.
and you know how these things go, these large projects like this go, you know, they come up there with original plan, you know, they come up with this, the planning board said, and you know, the department says you got to do this, engineering says you got to do this about drainage, you know, and blah, blah, blah. And that's all on paper, you know, before any excavation happens. You know, and then they get going onto it, and I say, oh, they got to come back and say, oh, we hit some ledge, or we hit blah blah blah. Can we do this? And they got to come in and modify the plans. So that might be, you know, of times again where they need another approval, you know, where we can come in and say, well, you know, let's
Yeah, I mean-
consider this.
That's really all we can do at this point.
Yes.
Yep.
So we just wait, let them go, let them get started. And then the next time they have to go for the planning board for a little something, we'll
We have to show,
put it as
and
a
I'm
question.
sure we're not going to be alone. I'm guessing we're not going to be alone.
Right. Okay, so we shall be persistent and just always there.
Yeah, I think that's all we can do.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I'm not,
Mhm.
okay.
Okay.
Anything, Dawn, anything else on the meeting or anything else on that I didn't mention?
No, it's just if the other slide that I sent you just has the basic
Oh.
timeline.
I can pull that up. I have it right here.
Yeah, I was curious if they had proposed dates for anything.
Yes, they do.
I'm sure they do. It's just a matter of how public they've made them.
Mhm.
Right, I'm sorry, give me 1 second, I'll find it. Here it is. Let me share this. You share?
You got it.
Okay. Permit filings. in July.
So we have public hearings.
Mm-hmm.
We have there's a select board meeting, right? Didn't they say, Don, there's a select board meeting coming up on this involving this?
Yes, yeah, whatever the next board meeting is.
Okay,
I don't know what land to town means. Oh, convert the sale or the swap
Mhm.
or the
Yep.
whatever.
Yep, a
Okay.
year from now.
And I
Okay.
guess in exchange, what we have to remember, there's a couple things, right? The town gets a ton of tax revenue.
Yeah.
70 units at an average price of, value, let's say the assessments are never what the market price is, but let's say it's $1 million a unit, right?
Mhm.
I mean, do the math on that, and then, so that's definitely a benefit, and the town does get, how many acres of land, Don, do you remember? You know?
2828, it looks like
Yes.
by that
Yeah.
plan.
I
Yep,
think.
Okay.
28.
Thank you,
it
Leah.
is correct. I have a
So-
question for you.
Yeah,
Right underneath where it says Charles River Street, we have the piece of land that is going to be cut into 4 pieces. What about the one that is off to the east? Okay, on Charles River Street, there are 2
Oh,
parcels of land.
yeah.
But
So that's the,
there's
that's the,
the-
that's the river. your
that's the
arrow's
river.
going on.
Let's go up to Charles River Street.
That's at the
Yeah.
top of the map.
I
Top of the
can't-
map.
oh,
Okay.
Here,
Now,
yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. Now,
So-
the first one there is, I don't have my glasses, so I can't tell you how many acres it
oh, you're
is.
right, Rose,
Three-
hold on. I can make it bigger.
3.2.
There are 2
25.
pieces there.
Yeah,
There are
Yep,
2
I
pieces.
noticed that after I said the 28, it's another 3.25 and another 3.05 that
yeah.
Yes,
are earmarked.
Laura, if you have the hard copy in front of you, one of the
Yes.
slides indicates what's going to be developed. I think it's the one on the left.
Let me
I
see.
think, yes, that is the one that you
I should
should.
have copied that and
before.
put that up tonight, my
But
apologies.
then the question is, the one on the right, that is going to become part of Ridge Hill, right?
I
Yeah,
would think so if it's not part of the development.
Now, okay, in that part of town, what is the acreage required? And is this the reason that the ZBA has to be involved? That you couldn't put 4 properties on 3.25 acres if it's in an acre?
yeah, it's
Uh,
an acre and a half. I think it's an acre and a half zoning.
Okay, so they will need ZBA.
They could put 3
right?
houses in each of those.
So- Yeah, so, right, you're exactly right, Jeff. So, minimum lot size 1 acre with 150 feet of frontage as of right land use 2025 single family lot subdivision. So parcel 1 can get 3 lots, parcel 2 can get 3, and the main parcel can get 18 to 22 lots.
Mhm.
By
Um,
right, by right.
I feel bad. I'm gonna scan this from work and send it from a place where I can actually scan this much paper, and I'm gonna send it to you guys, okay?
Okay,
But
Yeah.
the homes are very basic, the front, what do you call that?
Cookie cutter, you might say.
Could you include the thing that Don was talking about that, that indicates that those parcels are gonna get developed?
I have the presentation that Dawn picked up. You sort of snuck over because you weren't supposed to go there unless you were an abutter. That was like an update. I don't know if you saw that.
well, you could go, you just couldn't speak. You were
Right.
not recognized by. the
Yeah, they
king.
were right.
They did,
Uh,
they recognized other people after the abutters had their say.
Oh, they did. Very interesting.
All these pages.
Were the other people in favor of this?
No, I don't think anyone was in favor of it.
Ah, okay, because you don't go to this kind of meeting unless you're against it. That's the reality.
Exactly, that's nobody, right, you're right.
So
Right.
who are the other people who
Try
were
to
against
scan
this?
this now. We're gonna try to scan this now from home. See if I can get it up there for you. We may not be able to do it. We may have to send it separately.
Okay,
But yeah, there was, according to Dawn, it seemed like there was not a lot of support for this, but it's already.
Don, who are the
Excuse-
other people other than the abutters who were opposing this? What was their opposition?
I don't
One
know.
was about the affordable housing, and that's the only other one that I heard from.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, part of this, when you hear that this property isn't listed, it sort of makes me say, well, are we doing enough to, make sure these types of homes are on our inventory? Like, what else? How do we go about finding out if we have all of the properties we need to be on
Uh,
this
th-
historical
that will be part of the
heritage?
Heritage 3 project. Where
Okay,
the company that came up with the houses that should be on the inventory.
okay.
Now,
Yeah,
even-
there's 35 houses they identified, right, Rose, was it not?
I believe that's the number, Jeff. It's been so long since we actually talked about it. We
Right,
need
but-
to get back to it.
Right, but there's that many that are pending a
Right.
discussion.
Yes, a lot of pending. And, oh, okay,
So this, I'm not sure there's anything more we can do other than attend these meetings and en masse and just share our opinions about this. And I'm not sure we're going to be able to change this at this point.
Yeah. I guess
But
one of the,
we could do it friendly, make friendly
Mhm.
suggestions along the way.
yeah. I think when they talk about the due diligence, that's, I think, they had every kind of due diligence you can think of. The developer gave a litany of it, from the water, the geology, the wetlands, all those, but nothing historical. So if we can just maybe get that on somebody's radar to say, when you're doing the due diligence on the development of these properties, part of that has to be a historical due diligence.
right.
And of course, that's going to be something they're going to want to overlook, I think, because they don't want impediments to what they're doing, right? I mean, that's just not that there are any with this house, but
But it is our job to make the case for historical preservation all the time.
correct.
Um,
So we do it in the ways that we can do it, and
Yep.
we
we do our best.
hope that other, residents that go to these meetings, hear what we're saying and sort of jump onto our bandwagon and adopt our cause, right? That's
Mhm.
okay.
Okay,
So I'm not sure what the next steps on that are, except for to monitor this and, attend any meeting we can that's
Mhm.
helpful.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yep.
Mel. Okay. The next agenda, does anybody have any more comments or questions on that? Okay. The next agenda item is this Eastern Mass Historical Commission webinar on January 31st. I haven't not gotten any more information from Jen Doherty.
No,
So I'm glad you brought that up, Laura, because I was going to mention this in new business because I wasn't sure if it was on anybody's radar or not, but I was made aware of it through my connections at work. So I am attending.
Oh, wonderful. Is
Great.
there a way to, can we sign up now, Leah, as far as you know?
Yes, oh, absolutely.
Yep.
Yep.
The letter that Jen sent has the link in it, and I'm
Ah,
going.
okay, good.
So the more the merrier.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. I didn't really, I thought she was gonna send a follow-up and I don't remember getting it, but
No.
that's good to know. Okay,
No.
great. I'm not sure what we can say. The next agenda item is the former Hillcrest Gardens, the proposal to develop a 4-story mixed-use property. The minutes from I believe it was either the planning board or the zoning
board.
planning board. They have not yet come out from their last meeting on this, so at least when I did the agenda, they hadn't come out, so. Rose,
They won't come out until the planning board has met again and approved the minutes, and then they will become public.
okay, so,
Okay. As far as-
yep. So I don't know if Leah, if you know, but you can go on the website and find like past agendas and meeting minutes, which are sometimes really interesting to hear. I don't, I find it a little difficult to navigate there, but, but you can do it. So this is the former, a garden store,
Mhm.
Needham Garden Center, and, so they got out of that.
Do
you
they
know,
have, is it up for a vote? Are they, was the building
Well-
plan presented and they're gonna vote on it or what?
I'm not sure they're at that point yet. We listened to this planning board meeting where there was a presentation of what they wanted to do, and I don't think there's anything specific to vote on yet. But they want a mixed use thing. They want to probably going to change like the entrance for parking.
Oh,
And-
I saw did you see the plans? Have you seen the plans?
I think I
20
did.
feet back.
Oh, they're building, multi-use, so it's storefronts. You
Yeah,
know,
Yep.
so it doesn't
Yep.
look residential at all. It's just
Yeah.
one big rectangular brick building, with a not even an interesting roof line. They're asking for a waiver from the boundary from the Christian Science Church so they can get some relief and get closer to the boundary there. It's a travesty of what he's gonna do
yeah. I know.
with beautiful gardens there, and keep
And Artie Crocker said that he was concerned about losing Greenland, green space, even though there is a park across the street. But it seems to me that Dorenzo is going to add another story, pull the building back from the street and put the parking underneath. This is not any of our business because it's not on our inventory, but
No,
But actually, remember, the place where the select board told us on the master plan, right? And it indicated that the historical commission, the developers have to go through, anything that's on the inventory, on the list, or any other properties that the historical commission might weigh in on. I don't remember what the language was, but it got really vague that included us. So we have a role to encourage that they, do something, maintain, some historical aspect of that.
when does our role come into play?
and they have already started demolition, guys.
Well, maybe no, they have not started with them.
Well,
The renters in there now.
they were taking down the porch in the front, the side porch. That was going the other day when I was.
Oh, really? I haven't been by there in days. I was there.
Again, if this wasn't a listed property, this, we,
I think we could write a letter encouraging, there's a history to that house. I mean, from turning it into a house to a garden center. Where did the greenhouses get established? maybe we should ask Gloria to do some research on this, because those greenhouses weren't built. I don't think those were built specifically for Hillcrest Gardens. Okay, I think that, you know, they might have been there because they appear to be older than, you know, I think Joe bought that property in the 70s.
Mhm.
Okay, well, maybe we can ask her to look into it. That's a good idea, Joe.
And
Um,
you know, nobody's gonna likes what the plans that he's put forward. You know, I know a number of people who are really disliking, you know, him taking down that house.
Well, so that's a zoning change, so that would end up having to go before the zoning board of appeals, yes?
Yep. No,
Yes.
not Board of Appeals. Well, it would go for the Board of Appeals for some of the variances. But
Right.
to change it, the zoning, he has to go through the in front of the planning board.
Okay, so
And the
that,
planning,
yeah,
the planning
this
board
is
has to go
where-
to town meeting.
this is-
They have to go to town meeting to change the zoning.
so this is where, again, we have a voice, we can go, we can make our voice heard at these meetings. Feel like if we just spread ourselves around enough and keep bringing up these issues with, you know, homes that are
Alright.
significant, but maybe not
So-
listed, maybe.
So
maybe-
put it on the agenda for next meeting, or, well, you know, that we draft a letter to the planning board.
Okay, I
you
want
know.
to let's talk to Gloria first, I think,
Okay.
you know, just, Yeah.
Mhm.
but I hear you, Jeff, for sure. Okay. Next topic is the Lost Needham presentation in the slide deck. Leah, do you have any update on that at this point?
No, I was waiting to hear from Gloria. I think she was going to reach out to Joe and myself to help her with that, and I haven't heard anything more.
Okay, all right, that's fine. So
Um,
table that unless, Rose, do you have any?
This will go on to the next agenda.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, and again, I'm guessing the Heritage 3 project is also on the next agenda, Rose?
Well, I don't know anything. I don't know what Gloria was going to go over the material that we have so that we can do a clear statement about what needs to be completed. Money has already been set aside, so it needs to get done.
I think she was gonna check with the consultant who was doing this.
The
to-
consultant has gone away. And
There was,
I don't know whether
or maybe she was gonna check the agreement. There was something she was gonna look into.
the paperwork that has been done, and that's something that needs to be looked at.
Okay.
closely.
Okay. Because that is meaningful. I remember the Medfield local historic district commissioner told me that they actually did a video. You know, they sort of took you around town to show. And it was powerful.
The Needham Channel for a while was doing stories about houses that were rehabbed, like the one at the corner of Great Plain and Webster that was moved closer to Great Plain. That was one of them.
Do we have that video? Those are, didn't Bob Boder gave us that?
I don't know where it would be, but Bob was very much involved in doing it.
I think we have copies of it, because he would, you know,
And Gloria would have the copies at the History
Yes.
Center. Okay. So we'll ask her about that.
Okay, so now we're on to new business. I'm gonna ask Rose to comment on new business.
Make myself the center of attention, is that
Yes,
it?
please do.
I swear. You didn't tell me this, Laura.
Oh, no, we had a long talk about this, Rose.
Yes. Anyhow, I have been serving the town of Needham for a long time. First on the library foundation and eventually as its second president, then as a library trustee for 12 years. And I have been on the historical commission since 2014. And I have decided that it is time for me to step down as of June. That's when my term ends. And so this gives you plenty of time to work through someone who obviously wouldn't replace me, but would
There
take,
is no replacing you.
right? Anyhow, it has been a great ride and I'm not going anyplace. I will still be at public meetings, standing up and saying, well, you ought to think about this. Okay. But thank you all for a really great time.
Well, Rose, thank you. I mean, I have not been around as long with you as long as Jeff and maybe Dawn, but while I've worked with you, you've been so conscientious about it and so loyal to it and just so great in every one of the roles that you've had. So really
Okay, now this is being taped and I could send it off to my kids.
yeah, no, but that's how I feel. So thank you very much. So please, I know you're going to still be
Yep.
on this week commission till June, but please don't be a stranger. And we may all call you and ask you for advice.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm really good at giving advice. I
bet.
have ideas about everything. So all you have to do is ask and I'll tell you what I think.
All right.
Does that free Rose up to be our community member at large now for the?
Yeah, that's right.
Good job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. I was wondering who was going to come up with that one. Good
Well,
for you.
you know what? Let's let other people opine and then, we'll have to deal with this huge vacancy in our committee and in
Come
our
on, come on.
heart. No. Dawn, do you want to say anything?
Nope, Rose, we're gonna miss you.
Yeah, I'm still in the neighborhood, Don.
Yeah, I know. I know where you live.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
know where you live.
Exactly. No, I'm not going anyplace. I will still
Yeah.
be here, except for my last meeting. I will not be here in June because I'll be in Australia.
Well, that's a
Just
much
like
better
that.
place to be.
But
Okay, well, again,
anyhow,
big shoes to fill, but we appreciate everything for sure.
thank
And
you. Thank you
you
for your
know,
time.
and I appreciate, like Rose said to me, I want you to have enough time to find somebody to replace me, which, we got two wonderful people with our search last year. So,
Exactly.
we'll work on that. And, obviously, Leah, if you know anybody that might be interested, that's great. But we will use whatever methods we have to replace Rose, but Rose is not really replaceable.
As I said, for my kids.
Yeah.
If Kristen's recording this whole thing, you can send the whole thing to
They
I
would.
can send it over to you, Rose.
them.
Oh, thank you, Kristen. They would just go, yeah, right. You didn't
Yeah,
live
no,
with me."
they know how good you are. They're just kids and they're never going to tell you. That's how they are.
That's true. Even though they're all in their 50s, they
It
are.
doesn't matter how old they are, right? We've
They're
learned.
all, they're still kids.
Um,
And
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, that's it.
Okay, so is there any other business that anyone wants to discuss? No?
No.
Okay. So, thank you all.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Second.
Okay,
Can I
thank you,
second?
Jeff. Who's seconding?
I am.
Oh, okay, thank
do
you.
that?
Okay.
Actually, I've been told the chair can't second.
Chair cannot second.
Okay.
Can-
All right,
okay.
I'll
then.
second.
Thank you, Leah. Okay, and now take a vote, Laura, and
I will take a vote. Rose,
yes, aye.
Dawn,
Aye.
Leah,
Aye.
Jeff,
I,
Okay, thank you very
Meeting.
much.
is adjourned. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it.
Yes,
Great. Thanks, Laura.
thank you. See you